Chatting module number 1, get your pen out, get your paper out. I'm about to teach you how to get rich. Chatting is very important because it is the whole sales part of your business. It's where you're going to be making 80% of your revenue. So listen up. If you're new here, get a pen and paper, especially if you're new to chatting. It's nice to have like your notes written down, and then while you're chatting, you can keep looking back at the notes because it's just easier to follow along and make sure you don't forget anything and miss anything. So yeah, get your pen and paper out. Let's get right into it. Module number 1 is going to be chatting goals. So why are you chatting? What's the point of chatting? Point of chatting is to make as much money as possible, maximize revenue, and portray your client in the correct way. So what I mean by this is if your client has a niche, whatever it might be, gamer girl, next door girl type niche, next door girl, let's take that for example. You want to make the chatting like really cute and innocent, like text like a girl. So that's it's really important for just creating a persona for the model. If you're just taking on a new model, she doesn't have a persona yet, you can create one, and then you can align the chatting with that persona. Make sure it matches you. You have to make sure everything in this business model matches. That's what really separates the top level agencies from the amateurs, basically, in my opinion. So chatting goals are to maximize the amount of revenue. The way you do this is by building relationships, which is a whole nother module itself because it's so important. So building relationships and creating long-term customers. That kind of comes off of building relationships. Also, when you're chatting, you have to completely destroy your limiting beliefs. When I first came into this business model and sold my first $100 PPV, my mind was blown. Couldn't imagine someone fucking spending $100 for a 2-minute video. If you think that's a lot, these guys will spend thousands of dollars a day. It doesn't even have to be videos, just talking to the creator and maybe custom pictures, whatever it is. Don't associate your limiting beliefs with the OnlyFans space in general, because just because you wouldn't buy something doesn't mean these guys won't. These guys will spend thousands of dollars every single fucking day on your creator. So yeah, just cut out all of your limiting beliefs. It's just going to hinder you. I remember even at the start of my journey, when I was chatting myself, I was selling $100 PPVs, and I didn't even think about going to $200 because in my mind, it just didn't work. I was like, how is someone going to pay $200? As soon as I started doing $200, people were just buying them all the time. Obviously, you have to have good chatting, but yeah, that's just important to destroy your limiting beliefs. And the way you're going to maximize your money and profits, revenue from chatting, you need to develop a system. So with my chatting system, I don't like to hard sell. A lot of agencies just spam, mass message fucking PPVs just non-stop. You can do this to the time wasters, no problem, but you want to exclude the big spenders because you want to make their experience a bit more personal. They're paying premium for it, so make sure you're creating their experience just so for them, so they'll spend that bit more money. And for when you develop a system, you need to be gathering information and note-taking. So you can do this on the OnlyFans thing itself, on the OnlyFans platform, but it's not really great because you have limited space to take down information. It's like limit of 200 characters or something. I use BuddyX currently. Great software. I'll link it in the description. I'm not affiliated or anything. You can use Inflow and stuff too, but BuddyX is the cheapest, and it has all the same features of Inflow, of all these other chatting tools. So I use BuddyX. You can take notes in BuddyX, and I think it's unlimited the amount of notes you can take. So a quick example of info gathering would be like where they're from, how old they are, what are their interests, what do they like sexually, when is wanking time, so when will they spend money on you. And you can develop the system yourself. Anything you think will be useful for chatters to know or for yourself to know, especially once you have a lot of customers. You need to develop a good system for information gathering, because when you have lots of customers, you forget, especially you don't want to be forgetting the whale's preferences or where they're from or how old they are. You need to be taking this stuff down. Very important to do this from the start, especially if you get some big customers from the start. It's always it's essential to gather this information. Next is building relationships. This will take your revenue to the next level. Once you have some solid relationships built, These guys be paying your rent, be paying everything for you. I'll talk about that in a later module. Yeah, so when you're building out the system, you need to do information gathering. You need to have a system for dealing with time wasters. So a quick example of dealing with time wasters, let's say you try to run a script, he doesn't buy it. After he doesn't buy the first script, obviously you'll go into objection handling and stuff, which I'll talk about later. After you've done all that, let's say you wait a week, you send him a mass PPV video, or you send him another script, he doesn't buy it. Then you send him a mass PPV, he doesn't buy it. Only then you will mark him as a time waster. This is the importance of building systems and having a chatting system, because if he doesn't buy the first script, whatever, he might not be horny in the moment, he might not be in a position to buy the script, whatever it is, he might not buy the first one for whatever reason. Once you track this, you can track it on whatever, you build out a system for yourself, track it, say, okay, Johnny didn't buy script 1, send him script 2, Johnny didn't buy script 2, send him mass PPV, Johnny didn't buy mass PPV, mark him as a time waster, and you can just spam this guy with mass messages, pay-per-views. So hopefully he'll buy something, and you can mark him as really cheap, and maybe he'll buy like a $5 PPV, whatever. But with the time wasters as well, I get this question a lot, like how to deal with time wasters. So don't be talking to them for free. A lot of these guys just want to talk to the model, and you're giving them exactly what they want. They want the model's attention. Well, they think it's the model when it's you sitting behind the laptop, computer, whatever. They want the model's attention. They have to pay for this. This is why you always have to be charging for your model's time and charging for any sort of texting. You cannot be texting for free. Our attention is valuable. The model's attention is valuable. They have to spend money to get our attention. So when these guys chat for free, a lot of them, some of them are actually quite smart, and they will say, oh, how much is this sex tape, whatever, pretending like they're going to buy it. But then you say a price, whatever, you say like $200, and then he might say, oh, too expensive, can you do a bit cheaper? And then you say, yeah, sure, whatever, I'll do it a bit cheaper just for you. You send it to him for like, whatever, 150, and he doesn't buy it. And then he keeps trying to text. So this is what I mean. Some of the subscribers actually have a brain, and they just want like attention from the model, and they'll pretend to want to buy a video just to get attention. You have to identify this and cut that shit out. You don't want to be wasting time on these guys. If you could try cut a price once, twice. If he doesn't buy it, just NR him and then just add him to the time waster list. Or ideally you try run another script and then add him to the time waster list. Yeah, don't argue with these guys. A lot of, like, when he doesn't buy the discounted price, don't start arguing with him. Just, if he doesn't buy it and he says, oh, I'm getting my money tomorrow or whatever, you can make a note of that. Or just mark him as a time waster. Don't argue with them, especially if you're representing the client. Keep it professional. If he doesn't buy after a discount, just don't reply to him until next time you want to try sell to him. Yeah, I think that's it with chatting goals. So the main thing is try to make as much money as possible. Develop a system. I'm not going to give you a system because you guys can develop this yourself for whatever strategies you want to use. But yeah, so develop a system. As soon as the fan subscribes, what do you say? How would you gather the information? What information do you gather? If he buys the first script, if he buys it, make a note that he bought the first script and he's a good spender. If he doesn't buy it, make a note of that, and then you can try retarget him again. If he still doesn't buy it, you can try one more time with the mass PPV. If he still doesn't buy it, you can mark him as time waster and then try selling cheap mass messages. I think that's it for chatting goals. Yeah, the other modules are going to be a bit longer. I'm going to be covering literally everything. So the other modules next module will be out tomorrow, the day after, daily videos. If you guys have any questions, I have a free Telegram group chat, and I'll try to answer all my questions. I do get a lot of DMs, so I'll try to answer every question I can get. Also guys, if you're DMing me for whatever it might be, business purposes, please say it straight away. If you're messaging me on IG, I have a lot of guys just messaging me like, hey. I'm not going to reply to that because I don't have time to reply to every single hey message and ask you guys what you want. Just if it's a question about OnlyFans, whatever, I'll try to help you out. Just make it clear. You don't have to say hey bro. Just say the question and say like, oh, I'd appreciate your help, and I'll get back to you. I'll try my best to get back to you, because I get so many DMs saying like, hey bro, and that's it, and I don't know what the fuck he wants. So yeah, just make it clear. Free Telegram down below. daily video. Subscribe if you found a bit of value in this. And yeah, I'm going to be diving deep into chatting in this guide. That's it for today. Peace out.